Well, for more, let's bring in National Senator Matt Canavan. Happy New Year to you, Senator. Great to see you. On that rainfall, the second worst floods for parts of northern Queensland since 1955. What's your opinion on businesses, loss of stock and the like?
Well, Happy New Year to you, Janie. Unfortunately, it's not such a Happy New Year for many of those graziers affected by these massive rain events. As your weatherman has just described, this is perhaps the second largest weather event in history. Some of you might remember there was a massive flood there only a few years ago in 2019 with devastating losses, almost 1 million cattle lost, massive property losses that had an impact for years. And this is bigger than that. So that's obviously extremely concerning. I've spoken to a few people up there in the last few days, and we're not exactly sure what the losses are yet, because obviously there's large parts of properties there which can't be got onto yet. There is some hope that perhaps the losses won't be as bad as 2019, despite this rain event being larger. The weather or the conditions up there were better leading into this flood. We had a good season up there last year, so the cattle are in pretty good condition, and that's critical to determine whether or not cattle pull through a tough environment like this. So let's just hope and pray that people aren't facing the same sort of losses as 2019, despite this being an even bigger flood than then.
I wanted to ask you about the growing calls for a Commonwealth Royal Commission. We're hearing now there's about 20 Labor figures that are calling on Anthony Albanese to change his mind on a federal Royal Commission into anti-Semitism. We've seen sports stars, Teals, yet to wait to hear what the Greens have got to say. But this list is really growing, isn't it? Do you think the Prime Minister will change his mind?
He seems pretty stubborn on this, Janie, and that's pretty hard to explain. As you say, you've read out the cavalcade of business leaders, sports leaders, political parties that are supporting a Royal Commission. Obviously, this began with a reasonable request from the Jewish community. There were the victims here, we should remember. It was a privilege yesterday for me to be at the Bondi Pavilion and hear Rabbi Yossi read out the names of the victims. Just terrible and tragic what's happened, and I can't fathom why the Prime Minister wouldn't respect the requests of the family, the community that have suffered this terrible loss, to have a Royal Commission. This is a major event. There's a lot of unanswered questions about how this has been allowed to happen. More importantly, how can we make sure it doesn't happen again? And so a Royal Commission is a very reasonable request. It's now one supported by almost every corner of Australian society. The only people that are now resistant to a Royal Commission is the Australian Labor Party and their leader, Anthony Albanese. And even then, we're starting to see Labor figures come out and say there should be a Royal Commission. So the question now has to be asked is why? Why is the Prime Minister refusing to listen to all of these eminent Australians? Has he really got something massive to hide? The only explanation, the only conclusion you can come to here is that the Prime Minister actually has something really big to hide, in perhaps ignoring warnings, in not taking the issue seriously over the last few years, that he doesn't want exposed by an independent Royal Commission, which could get to the bottom of what happened within government, could request whatever document they like, and that's perhaps the reason why he's only announced a review that he could control and therefore control the information that the rest of us are allowed to see.
We've got less than a minute, Senator, but I wanted to just get your quick analysis, if you don't mind, on Venezuela's President Maduro pled not guilty to all 4 charges against him at a US court. What's your take on this situation?
Well, it's a remarkable incident. It shocked the world. I think the merits of it or otherwise will be determined here by this case, and whether or not there is these allegations are upheld against the former president of Venezuela. The other point for me, I mean, more important for us as a small country here is for us to drop our naivety to think that the world is ruled by what we call a rules-based order. The world is ruled by the interests of nations, and the US is taking here a decision in its national interest. It's about time we act on that basis too, and take account of our national interest, not just naively rest back on the idea that everyone will protect us because that's what the rules say.
Yeah, very interesting points indeed. Great to see you as always, Senator Matt Canavan. Thank you.